It's the McShay Show presented by FanDuel. The NFL draft is behind us, but that doesn't mean you still can't get in on all the action with FanDuel. Bet your favorite Super Bowl winners, along with a ton of other fun markets like win totals, player awards, and futures, and so much more. When you win, you'll get paid instantly. FanDuel always has exclusive offers. The app is safe, secure, and easy to use. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today and make every moment more. The Ringer is committed to responsible gaming. Please visit rg-help.com to help learn more about the resources and helplines available. And listen to the end of the episode for additional details. Must be 21 and older and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Boy, we've got a fun show today. 2025 NFL Draft, it's in the rear view. Now, of course, just naturally, it's the 2026 way too early NFL mock draft. And you know what we got to do, Mensch?
It's way too early.
We got to reset the clock.
Here we go.
Just 357 days until the NFL draft. Mensch, you good?
I'm good, man.
Tucker, wherever you are, play me that sweet beat. All right, I promise full transparency, and that's exactly what you're going to get. It is Monday morning, and I'm wearing a hat because I was up doing a mock draft, a way too early mock draft late last night. After 2.5 hours of reviewing the 2025 NFL draft, I went back to the hotel here in LA and sat down and did a mock draft. It was grueling. It was punishing. It wasn't fair. I didn't like doing it, but when I got into it, it was kind of fun.
Nice.
And so I'm wearing a hat today because I'm exhausted, and I just threw one on this morning because let's knock this out and let's have some fun. And you're going to see this a little bit later in the week, but that's fine too. Mensch is wearing a hat because he was out jam-banding with fish in the holiday. He was noodling with fish in the Holiday Bowl last night, man.
Trey and the boys are tearing it up.
We went to bed at the same late time just for different reasons, but he's here, and he's a trooper. Fresh-faced, Santa beard going.
Draft Santa.
Mensch Mafia folks love this guy for a whole bunch of reasons, and one of them is because you're playing guitar at Rosillo's and you're jam band last night, and it brings a little balance to this show. Couple things I want to get to quickly before we get in this mock draft. First of all, the McShay Report. It's out now, the way too early mock draft. We're going to go through we're not hiding picks. We're not trying to get you to go spend $4 or doubling down. But we'd love for you too. And we're going to have content all throughout the summer. We're going to have content all throughout this month of May coming up, and we're excited to like really do some deep dives into all of the players that were just drafted, the rosters. We're going to really break it down before we kind of switch the page over to the 2026 draft and all of that. So I am seeking your input. Steve and I are seeking your input. Next week, we can decide what shows to do, but send in your thoughts. Like, as you're watching the show right now, I want you to think, like, what do I want to hear? Maybe it's about a specific team. Maybe it's something about the process. Maybe it's about, like, certain players, where they went. Whatever it is, we're going to take a list of those. We're going to compile it. Dan's back there. He knows to look through all the comments. We will, too, and kind of figure out if there's a trend of certain things you guys want to hear. We'll figure it out. If there are certain questions that are like, oh, that's awesome. That's creative. That's fun. That's new. We've never thought of that.
Let's do it.
So next week's going to be all about you guys. We've come up with all these show ideas. We broke down every angle of the draft. It's 2.5 hours of reviews we did yesterday. We get the way too early mock today. We had 4.5 hours of live show on the Thursday night. We had another 3.5 hours of live shows Friday night. We did 2 hours at Rosillo's house. Now we want to hear from you. So that's my push to all of you who have been unbelievable. The support, like the numbers that we're getting, and people are starting to figure out we're the not fucking around crew. I told you. And I think you know what I'm talking about. The information you've gotten here got you actually prepared. Whether it was back to the combine with Shador, whether it was some of the different positions and where we thought they would go. The rise of Tyler Shuck going 40 and maybe the starter for the Saints. I feel really good about all the hard work. Sometimes it doesn't pay off in life, and certainly in this job. This year it did. You guys have witnessed it, and we appreciate all of your support along the way. Okay. Last bit of housekeeping. The way too early mock draft. Let's just address it off the top.
Please.
I get it. And the funny part, Mensch, is for all the draft buzzes, the rankings, the mock drafts throughout the year, all the stuff that I used to write at my former place of employment. Okay, as if that's a big surprise,
right? Big secret.
This would be the most viewed article that I would write for .com. Okay,
yeah.
And so, I love that. Like, we're already, let's flip the page. I told you, I get yelled at in my house all the time. It's always like, next play. I was always, as a quarterback, like, next play. Like, that play's done. We can't do anything about next play. So you guys have the same mentality, and I love that. And this is a good jumping off point. And to be totally honest with you, it's a fun exercise in this. We watch so much tape, and we see other players. That's the starting point. Talk to a lot of different scouts kind of throughout the process, and guys, you're always like, yeah, next year's. I mean, we already know those wide receivers in 2027, man. Arch Manning in 2027. I should mention, Arch Manning is not in this. Nico Iamaleava is not in this. I fully believe they both will be in the 2027 draft. If that changes, we'll adjust with it.
Yeah, it would have been easy for you to put them in there. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you took that approach. You thought about it.
Yes.
You actually thought about something.
I did. And I didn't want to think last night, but I did. It was the last thinking I wanted to do for about a week, okay? So there's no deep dive tape breakdowns. I caution you, I warn you, and I ask for you just calm down. Be rational. If you're not, that's fine too. I'm used to that. And listen, like last year, for example, NFL general managers, there's only 32 of them that sit in those seats in the entire world. And their scouting staff that they handpick, that grind all year long. If you polled NFL general managers a year ago, it would have been Quinn Ewers, Shedeur Sanders for top quarterbacks. Sanders goes in the 5th, Ewers goes in the 7th. Different reasonings, but remember the reports that Cam Ward got were when he put into the advisory committee. It was you only get 3 things. This advisory committee that the league put together. People evaluate the tape, talk to people in the league. Where would you go? As an underclassman, you ask, where would I go? Should I leave school or should I come back? And when he put out in the request to the NFL advisory committee, you only get one of 3 answers. You're going first round, projected second round, or go back to school. He got to go back to school, and NFL scouts he talked to was like, yeah, like fifth round grade. He was the number 1 overall pick. So I'm not sitting here copping out and saying, like, don't hold me to this. I'm not worried. I haven't done the tape. And what I promise you is when we're done in LA, which is very soon, I'm going to take a few days off. Mensch is going to take a few days off. We're going to enjoy our family. I think we've earned that. And then come next week, we're going to do shows tailored to you and what you're asking us for. But as we start those, we're going to start our tape study. We do this take a week, then right back into the tape for 2026. We need time to prepare to give you the best information. Nobody else will actually give you the right information by the end of the summer on who these players are and what the tape is speaking to us. But even the tape on Cam Ward a year ago, even if we deep dive in, we grind it, and we will, we're still going to come back and be like, Cam Ward, yeah, he's day 3 right now, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be first overall pick next year. But once we're comfortable with our grades and our evaluations and we start to put together rankings, we'll revisit this in August. It's the first time I'm ever doing this, okay? And I know it's the first time we've put out a book for ourselves to prepare for the college season and to get started on our process for next year. But this year, for the first time ever, 25 years of doing this, Mensch and I are going to come back because we have this platform, and we're excited to share. All right, let's call it August, because I don't like to do much in July because no one in the league
does not.
Like, it's 11 months of grind. So we'll tape some shows, we'll do some pop pins here and there. But in August we come back probably, and I'll let you know the dates exactly when we're starting to put together our boards and when we feel good about the tape, and we'll come back later in the summer and we'll say, now we're comfortable. Hopefully these guys who are in 5th, 6th round, they elevate to 1st, 2nd.
Right.
Hopefully the guys in the 1st, 2nd stay and have a great year. But at that point, we'll get into a deep dive on the rankings, and who knows? Maybe we'll just do another mock draft before the college football season as we turn the page and get ready for the season. So that's all the housekeeping. I want you to enjoy this for what it is. I did look at some of the contracts for NFL teams to see whose contract was coming up. I tried to place guys where I thought it could be. Oh, very important. My last bit. It's a disclaimer. In the past, I've used power rankings from places of employment and just flipped the order. The order of this, and you're not going to like it. I didn't like it. I looked at it and I'm like, there's no way they're going to be drafting there. But if I looked at it last year, I would have been like, there's no way they're going to be drafting there again. Or they're going to be drafting way later. It is what it is. We went off of the odds. We asked FanDuel. We made sure that we got the odds right now. And so we took the odds to win the Super Bowl, basically, and reversed them. Flipped them upside down. And we accounted for the 2 trades already, right? The Rams, with the trade with the Falcons, they've got an additional 1st-round pick. And also the Cleveland Browns moving down the 2 spots with Jacksonville, they've got 2 first-round picks. So with all that said, we're off. The 2026 way too early NFL mock draft, and yes, Jets fans, it's depressing. I didn't plan on it.
Oh, that's how you dropped it?
I have nothing to do.
That's how you dropped it.
I had nothing to do.
Jets.
I mean, I can't imagine the Jets are picking 1 overall. But as I wrote in here, Jets fans, you got to admit, if you are picking 1 overall, the Justin Fields experiment did not go well, right? That you have to work off of some assumptions here.
Right, yeah.
And so if the Jets are in this position, I have to assume Justin Fields did not play out the way that they expected him to. So I went with Garrett Nussmeier, LSU quarterback. I flipped through a couple way too early mock drafts last night just to get a pulse of what I think people are a lot lower on Nussmeier than I am. I like this guy, man. I like his anticipation. I like the way he throws. I think he's got to be channeled and bottled up a little bit. Son of an NFL coach. I fully expect. Last year for Nussmeier was showing the world the flashes and kind of the instincts and kind of the creativity in the pocket, the way he's able to make some throws down the field into tight windows. But it also was an experience of highs and lows.
Right.
Young starter.
Right. A little bit of a roller coaster at times.
Yeah, absolutely. That Texas,
the highs are great, though. The highs are high.
The highs are so high.
Right.
The A&M game was a perfect example. He was rolling, man.
Tale of two halves,
As
right?
Connor Nevins, who's our executive producer here, said, in real time, remember that throw he was rolling out to the left? They're winning in that game, and it was 3 straight games he was playing lights out, and he was rolling to his left, and he just kind of threw it back over the middle, the number one mistake you don't make, especially when your dad's coaching quarterbacks.
Can't throw late over the middle, man.
In the National Football League.
Can't do it.
I'm sure his dad wanted to take
throw the clicker against the wall.
Yes. But as Connor said, he was feeling himself. Well, that moment of feeling himself turned into an avalanche, and then Texas A&M changed its quarterbacks, and it fell apart. And from that point on, LSU was never the same. But it wasn't all nuts. It wasn't at all. I'd put him low on the totem pole of the reasons why things
running
fell
game,
apart.
Man. He had to carry that offense.
The defense, all of it. My point is, I like the trajectory for Garrett Nussmeier, and I think he'll be in the mix to be QB1. Okay, any thoughts?
Just keep in mind, I think this is important too. I think you've done a really good job of explaining this whole exercise. It's not going to matter. People are going to hate you. Just letting you know.
Oh, I'm well aware.
I'm glad it's you, not me. Just keep in mind, this is a mock draft, not rankings. So Garrett Nussmeier probably wouldn't be number 1 in your rankings. I think pick number 2 would probably be number 1 on your rankings. And we'll get into that in a second. But I like Nussmeier. Listen, he's in the mix. If he's not one, or if he's not the first quarterback off the board, he's in the mix, man.
You mentioned it. Saints are picking it too. That frustrated me because it's I believe in Tyler Shuck. Hopefully they didn't play him because they're still developing him. But if the Saints are picking it too, I just had to go best player in the draft. And it is rare. It's rare for a safety to be best player in the draft. If he's out there, I didn't see him. I didn't see a player who was just a better football player, a better prospect than Caleb Downs last year. Now, I understand safeties typically don't go this high. We thought Kyle Hamilton was going to go top 3, probably should have, right? But he didn't run well. Caleb Downs, I put at number 2 to the New Orleans Saints, and the fun part with Caleb is he's as mentally sharp as he is physically gifted. Like I love watching how quick he got jumps on the football, how quickly he reacted to run and filled the alley, how quickly he was able to diagnose a combination, like a pattern combination, and hand off and pick up the receivers on combo routes. I loved watching him free safety sometimes. Then they moved him in that 3 safety
that's
look.
The point I wanted to make. He's versatile, man. He's versatile. You talk about your drinking game, multiple. He can do everything that you want him to do.
Yeah.
Watch him match up against Tyler Warren.
Yes.
Oh, that was awesome.
Awesome.
Battle between those two.
So, yeah, maybe a safety doesn't go 2 overall, but this guy ain't going to fall far. And so, like, as physically gifted as he is, the mental part is a lot of fun to watch, too. And
the tough part for him will be there's no wiggle room when you're a safety. He's got to test super well. He's got to have another great year.
Right.
But it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be one of those things. Like, I don't think he'll go as late as Malachi Starks, but it'll be one of those things where I can't take a safety there. And then someone will draft him in the top 10, maybe just outside of it, and just get this hell of a player.
When Saints fans are probably asking, well, if the Jets are at 1 and they had a failed experiment, didn't Tyler Shuck? Wouldn't that be a failed? Yeah, I considered it. Like, I'm just not ready before he's ever even like put on a helmet and shoulder pads to call the career for Tyler Shuck a failure. So and again, I don't think the Saints will be picking this high, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's a difference.
And this is a best player available. Plus that their safety situation is tenuous. I looked through that as well. Giants at 3. Again, you can make the argument. Well, Jackson Dart didn't work out. Well, Jackson Dart probably isn't playing a ton this year.
Can we give a rookie more than a year? I mean, Justin Fields has been around for a little while. Can we give the rookies more than a year, please?
Especially top 40 picks. But that's where they have the Giants this year. Again, I don't like how are they picking 3rd overall? I don't know. When you have Russell Wilson upgrading the quarterback spot and Jameis Winston and also Jackson Dart, just in case.
How about Abdul Carter?
And most importantly, Abdul Carter with Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, some of the free agency acquisitions, not like overwhelming, but like
this is a better team.
It's a much better football team. But I went with Peter Woods here. And like I get it, Giants fans. You got Dexter Lawrence, and they just drafted Darius Alexander in the 2nd round. But from talking to guys in the league, man, like this could be the dude.
Yeah.
And I've seen him, and he's a good player. But like the traits and the expectation for. By the way, college football fans, check out how many Clemson guys. Check out how many guys from the state of South Carolina. This is gonna be an interesting year for Dabo's squad.
Yeah,
they've got some talent. Really interesting. Well, just make a note of how many South Carolina guys and especially Clemson guys are on this list in the 1st round. But Peter Woods, talking to guys in the league, it's like he might be one of those can't pass defensive tackles, and we'll see. We'll see a year. I mean, Michael Williams and James Pierce last year were top 5 dudes. Michael went early. Pierce got traded up for a 1st-round pick for the next year. And it wasn't about play on the field. It was about some of the character stuff that led to him falling into the 20s. But so maybe it's not 3, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of buzz in scouting circles on Peter Woods. And by the way, Dexter Lawrence will be entering after this season, he'll be entering, I believe, his final year of his contract, a 4-year deal, okay? And there's no telling how Darius Alexander plays, and you can't have enough of dudes, you know? Mm-hmm. So I just thought that was an intriguing spot.
Okay.
Here's where it gets interesting. Trade! Trade!
You did I didn't even realize you did a trade.
I did. You were out noodling.
You're sick
in the Hollywood Bowl, man. And I was out here making trades. Well, here's the deal, man.
They have the picks. I get it.
Yeah, the Rams are sitting there. The Titans had the 4th pick, so the Cam Ward year was bumpy. But the Titans, the Rams, because of the trade that they made, right, with the Falcons, Fleeced the Falcons. Compensation wise, love what the Falcons got and the aggressiveness. But Les Snead, great job. Let's look forward. Matthew Stafford can't play forever. There's already been talk like once.
Yeah, I thought they would maybe consider one.
So
early.
they passed.
They almost did, right? The rumor was they almost did.
Yes, the rumor was they almost took. They were going to take Jackson Dart. We'll probably never know for sure. I don't think that anyone would ever admit. Yeah, we wanted to take somebody else. So we wanted to take in this guy.
Right.
But I had the Rams trading up to that number 4 spot, okay? And this would mean the Titans would have the number 4 spot, and they wound up, I had them trade down to 11. And I gave them also the later first-round pick. So the Rams get 1 pick in the first. Titans don't pick as high as they would based off of the odds, but they get 2 picks in the first round, so Titans fans will come right back to you. The Rams very clearly made a statement when they made that trade, and they didn't, and Jackson Dart wasn't there, that we're all right after Jackson. In their minds, if Jackson Dart, if that speculation is accurate, there was a 2 quarterback draft for them. Cam Ward was going 1. If we could get Jackson Dart at 26 without having to trade up and giving away other compensation, we love what he has, and Sean McVay would love to work with him. If not, we're passing on 2025 at the quarterback position. And in 2026, we like what we're seeing already. Mm-hmm. And one of those guys here's another guy. Why aren't people talking about Lenore Sellers?
I love him.
Tell people about Lenore Sellers.
Listen, he's got to get more consistent like a lot of these guys. It's going to be a big year for him. But what was I forget the end of which game it was. But I called him Superman.
Missouri.
Missouri. He was, when you see him at his best, he's unstoppable. I mean, he's a great runner when he takes off, strong arm, built well, can handle the physical beating he's going to take a quarterback, can shake off some sacks, moves around really well. Again, inconsistent, some decision-making needs to be better. He misses on some throws. I thought there were some drops that hurt him last year, too, though.
Yeah.
Good player. I mean, again, a guy I think has got a really good chance to be in the mix.
I'm keeping a close eye on this guy this year.
Yeah.
Because his best tape is better than everybody else's best tape. And that includes Garrett Nussmeier. And Garrett Nussmeier's best tape is pretty damn good. That includes Drew Aller, who I'm not quite as high on as everybody else seems to be.
Yeah.
It's better than Cade Klubnik's, who I love the ascension. I'm hopeful that it's going to continue, and we'll get to Cade in a little bit. But this guy's best tape is better than everybody else's. I love when things break down. Bullets are flying. Yes, the decision-making sometimes can be erratic. Footwork's got to improve and be more consistent. But when things break down and get crazy, that's when some of his special comes out.
Yeah.
So I had the Rams taking, which would be perfect. And maybe you have one more year with Stafford, develop him behind him, and all of a sudden now McVay's got his guy to work with moving forward. Because I get it. McVay wants a partnership, not a mentorship at quarterback. But good luck finding a partnership like Matthew Stafford.
Right. That's a very unique situation. I don't know who you could trade for or.
Yes. All right, so let's keep it moving. Browns, you're up. Browns fans, I mean, here's the deal. If you're picking at 5, it's time to scrap the 4 quarterback deal. And it's actually 5 technically.
I was going to say it's 5.
Deshaun Watson's still on the roster.
Right.
Joe Flacco's going to be the week 1 starter. Kenny Pickett was brought in as a reclamation project. I appreciate what Cleveland's doing, and you know what? Kevin Stefanski's on the short list of guys who could actually, of these 4 he can make it work with Joe Flacco. He's done that before. They can win more games this year. He's actually capable, Stefanski is, and there's not a ton of people in the league that I would, actually just a handful maybe, that I would put up that list of guys that can get them, maybe could bring it out of Kenny Pickett, maybe could bring it out of Dylan Gabriel. Absolutely. I've said from day one, Stefanski's the guy I need to see Shedeur Sanders with. But after a year, you're picking at 5. My assumption is it's not going well. Flacco's done. Pickett maybe has to move on. You decide between one of those 2 rookies, but they're still viewed as a backup. We're going starter here, hopefully, for Cleveland, and it would be Cade Klubnik. It's a good news, bad news deal, Browns fans. If you're picking at 5, the good news is you may not have to package that second pick, that you traded up for. or you traded back for with Jacksonville. You may not have to utilize that Jacksonville first-round pick to go bump up a little bit, or maybe you do because you want to get up to number 1 or number 2. But in this situation, Cade Klubnik, the quarterback from Clemson. All of a sudden, Mensch.
Let's go Clemson.
All of a sudden, Mensch is a Clemson guy.
I think I've always been a Clemson fan. I was just disappointed with where we were.
Okay. Please.
I bleed orange.
With the talent around Klubnik, with the ascension we saw from him last year, I love his competitiveness. I love the pace that he plays the game with. I love the urgency. I like the way he creates and extends. I love when he takes off and runs. There's a lot of things there. He could have a Jackson Dart kind of rise. He's that kind of
won me
a
over.
baller, a competitor.
Yeah.
I know there's going to have to be improvement in terms of like footwork in the pocket, that catalog. He's got to show a lot of improvement in order to be drafted this high. But I wanted to represent in this thing where the quarterbacks, the 4 quarterbacks that I thought had a chance. Arch Manning, I told you, not like the Mannings have a plan, and I believe that plan includes Arch being in the 2027 draft. Nico Iamaleava transferring to Tennessee, to UCLA, and he's so far away, but I think he's 2027. So this is 3 quarterbacks now I have coming off the board, and Cade is one of them who may wind up in the 3rd round. Shoot, Shedeur Sanders went in the 5th. Quinn Ewers just went in the 7th. So I'm not saying he's my guy in the first. I'm just saying Cade's one of those guys that we'll be talking about, and we'll see how he progresses.
Think about the talent he has wide receiver. He's poised.
Yes.
He's got dudes at wide receiver between Williams, Wesco Jr., TJ Moore, like all these young, talented receivers who are now, kind of got their feet wet last year, started to explode at the end of the year. He's and don't tell me it doesn't matter. When you start putting up numbers and you have a great year and you get momentum going, and I think it's important. If you enter the league with momentum, like a Jaden Daniels, I think had a ton of momentum, when that helps you. And I just think that Klubnik's in a great spot to have a great year and kind of just get things rolling.
Okay. Panthers at 6. Francis Mauigoa, offensive tackle. That's where I went with this one. Listen, I watched a little bit of tape. I actually watched a little tape last night to see. And he's still developing a little bit. He's still kind of a pup. Mm-hmm. But 6'6", 315. Offensive tackle, probably outside of cornerback. Like, I don't know what any position is more about traits. He's got the traits. Need him to kind of take that next step this year. Mario Cristobal. Like, I've got a sense that this is a guy who's going to start to pop this year. Okay, started every game last year. Every single game at right tackle for the Canes. I don't know, is he a kick over to left tackle guy or not? I look at Carolina's situation. They're 30th last year in a pass block win rate. Okay, really good run blocking group. Pass protection wasn't great. Got better as the season went on, as Bryce was starting to get the ball out. I understand that. You got Icky at left tackle, Ekwonu. Just like the rest of the line, really good run blocker. Pass protection's not been great. So I don't know if this is a plug him at left tackle, kick Icky outside to guard, or bump him into guard, or kick him to right tackle. I don't know if this is he becomes a starting right tackle opposite Icky at Taylor Moton's spot. I'm not sure, but I do know protecting Bryce Young better than they protected him last year is a matter of importance, and they didn't spend a lot, if I recall. Carolina, I don't think spent a lot on the offensive line. I know it was wide receiver 1. You know,
I don't remember. Do you want me to look it up?
You know, I'm looking it up. We'll do it on the fly, but I just like offensive tackles go. We saw it this year. Offensive tackles go, even to places you didn't expect them to go. And we talked about like Kelvin Banks, how high he went. We talked about Will Campbell at 4. We had him at 12. A lot of teams had him in like 10 to 13 range. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's a guard. Offensive tackles fly off the board. And yeah, that's right. I knew it. They didn't draft an offensive lineman, period. It was wide receiver Teteroa McMillan, 2 edges, running back Trevor Etienne, safety, defensive lineman, and tight end.
Yep.
So this made sense to me when I was looking at it last night. The Raiders.
This is where it gets good for me.
7th pick, Drew Aller. I said before, man, and again, if the Raiders are picking at 7, you have to assume that Geno, because they're trying to win now. You saw it with the draft. You've seen it with a little bit of the offseason. You know, with the head coach, this is not a long-term deal, okay? That signals to me, if this is the case, that the Geno's 35, going on 36 next season, it would be a good time. We don't expect to be picking in the top 10 again, so let's make sure we get our quarterback, Drew Aller. I'm interested to see your take on it. Drew Aller's got a big arm. Drew Aller's a competitive son of a gun, and I like that about him. And I like the mobility, and I like how, but I just haven't seen a first-round quarterback in terms of ball placement, anticipation, accuracy, timing yet. I hope this is the year, and I'm glad he came back to school for another year.
This is, that always leaving wanting more is not necessarily a good thing when it comes to a draft prospect, and that's what I get with Drew Aller. And I thought there were flashes in the Big Ten championship game against Oregon where I was like, ugh. He's coming into his own. This is going to be it. This finally we're seeing the Drew Aller that we thought we were going to see all along, and it just hasn't come together consistently. And I think we've seen enough. You could say that Lenora Sellers has to develop too. They all have to make strides, right? But I feel like I've seen maybe it's prospect fatigue too. I've watched a lot of Drew Aller at this point.
Me too.
So maybe I'm being a little unfair because I've seen him so much.
And he was awesome last year.
But he needs to take a jump.
He made a big jump from 23 to 24. I was like day 3. Then last year I was like, okay, maybe day 2 climbing,
right?
But not there yet in my mind. So this is based off of, and I think we're agreeing
that's
here.
fair. I think that's fair.
This is based off of, all right, if he made that jump 23 to 24, similar jump 24 to 25 could land him somewhere in round 1.
Yeah, I think back. I don't think he played super well in the Notre Dame game.
Nope.
He was coming out when that Oregon game, man. Even though they lost that game, he made some plays in that game where I was thinking to myself, "This is it. Here we go. This is a big game." He showed up in a big game, and then I didn't see it the rest of the way.
All right, Colts at 8. Offensive tackle. I went here. Blake Miller from Clemson. I looked at the Colts situation. I think they could be in the market for a starting offensive tackle next year. Okay. They didn't use a pick in the first 3 rounds on an offensive tackle, and I had that as one of the top 3 needs, 3, 4, or 4 would be the stretch needs for the Colts coming in. They obviously got their tight end. They didn't draft they got their tight end in Tyler Warren, which was an awesome pick. Colts fans have to love that.
Yes,
and yes, Colts fan, you're looking at this and saying, well, when we go quarterback, and I'm like, I don't like. I've got one. Actually, I don't. There wasn't a quarterback here. We had 4 already off the board. That was the deal. I couldn't. Here's the problem I have is that there's a lot of coaches. Then they call me, and I'm trying this tightrope. Okay, that you walk with these things of trying to project and with positivity, like Drew Aller and Cole Klubnik. I don't see first round right now, but I'm trying to glass half full, positivity, project the positive. This is what it could be if it all works out. But then, then you start to balance. You're going that side, and then what happens is, I recognize the importance of this drill, unfortunately, and the impact it can have. I've had too many calls from Nick Saban's office and Urban Meyer calling my cell phone, and I understand that this can plant a seed in a young man's mind, and I'm not trying to do that. And I look, this is a public service announcement, a PSA. And I'm being, this is the most serious I will be all day is right here.
The more you know.
If you are a draft prospect and you're watching this or reading this, and I will write this as my first paragraph in this mock draft, please do not go off this. I have not studied enough tape. We're still working through the process. Do not say, oh, I'm going to be a first rounder. Maybe I got to protect myself. Please do not.
What a mistake.
This is an exercise for fun, just trying to get a feel for next year's class. Some frustrated NFL teams, fans of NFL teams. What can we do next year to make it up? I don't feel like we got enough this year in the draft. That's what this is for. This is not an indicator. If you want a better indicator, first of all, go to your coaches. Go to, you have the advisory committee to lean on. Go to people who actually know, and I don't know at this point. Come back in August, I'll have a much better feel. It didn't steer a lot of people wrong this year, but not right now. All right, with that out, I didn't have another quarterback that I felt like I pushed it with those 4. There was nobody else I felt great about at this point.
We'll get back to that later.
Okay. I went Blake Miller from Clemson. The Colts, 4th round, 127 overall was the first time. And as a player, I didn't even love in Jalen Travis going that early. That didn't solve anything in my mind, in terms of long-term starting tackle league, So I went with Blake Miller, who's an interesting prospect because he's getting a lot of love from certain circles and not a love from some people. And I think, Mensch, you're kind of
I want to see him get stronger. He needs to get stronger. He's an athletic kid. And he's tough. He fights. I need to see a little more strength in both the run game and the passing game. I want to see him anchor better. I want to see him move some guys off the ball.
So just like the quarterbacks, like these guys make that next step. A lot of guys.
He moves well.
A lot of guys in this first round this year that weren't there a year ago. So Blake Miller could be one of those in your mind that it maybe isn't there right now, but a full off season. Think about when you're 21 and like what a full off season, nutrition and weight room and all. Like it's amazing how quickly things can change for you, and hopefully that's the arc for Blake Miller. Sticking with Clemson, man, this is the 4th Clemson Tiger in the top 9.
My guys.
TJ Parker. Don't let him make him earn it a little bit more.
You could maybe put him earlier.
I know.
I mean, it's
I had
tough.
4 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
but
I hear you.
Trust me, he was sitting there for a little bit. TJ Parker.
He's a problem.
Again, good news, bad news, Browns fans. You didn't have to use this pick to go up for a quarterback, but you had to take a quarterback, and you were picking with your original pick at 5. But now you get the Jags pick, and you're at 9. And now it's a payoff, right? For moving back, not getting Shohei Ohtani, not getting Travis Hunter. And so you combine Mason Graham with TJ Parker and plus still have that first pick if you need it on a quarterback or another position at the time. That trade is going to be huge. And TJ Parker, 6'3", 265, powerful bull rushing dude. And he also, if I remember correctly, like he had 7 or 8 sacks last year. He was I was impressed with the limited amount that I've seen of him. Really impressed and excited to see what he can do this season.
Yeah, he's a problem. He's a problem coming off the edge, and he had 11 sacks last year.
Yeah.
He turned it
it was 11? That's right.
And
I
when
knew
you
the
watch,
number jumped.
I don't know what his pressure number is, but I will say this. When you throw on the tape, he's pack a lunch if you're an offensive tackle going up against this kid.
I love it.
He is a problem.
All right. We'll start to car wash this a little bit.
Yep.
Patriots at 10. Coming off a great draft. Great offseason. A lot of excitement. Still picking at 10. That's fine. Part of the developmental. 2026 is going to be the year, Pats fans. I went with Ruben Bain here. Edge, defensive lineman, Miami. I'm counting on a bounce back. Nicked up a little bit last year. Wasn't the same guy. His freshman year, though, I remember watching him 2 years ago and being like, that guy's a true freshman. Mm-hmm. When he was fully healthy, he was something, and he was tracking to top 10. I'm working off of like Miami's defense is going to bounce back this year, and Bain's going to be a big part of it. I think Ruben Bain is one of the more intriguing guys to watch. Titans, you made the trade, remember? So now we get 2 picks in the first round, Titans fans. This would be at 11 a trade from the Rams via the Falcons. Okay, Nick Harbor. Another state of South Carolina it's a fertile ground. South Carolina is fertile ground.
What's wrong with you?
Man, I had a lot of things. He's 6'5", 240 pounds. He ran a 10-1 200 meter. I'm not a big 100-meter guy, but I know that's fast.
Yeah.
Drawing some DK Metcalf.
I get that.
Production has not been there, but he finished pretty strong. 19 catches, 325, 3 touchdowns in the final 7 games last year. This would be an interesting weapon for Cam Ward.
This is fascinating because I was like, well, his numbers aren't great. He's unbelievable talent.
Unbelievable.
I mean, this is really DK. Really DK.
Yeah.
Really built like DK. Really runs like DK. We're not kidding. It's DK. Someone was like, oh, but DK must have put up bigger numbers. 2018, DK Metcalf at Ole Miss had 26 catches.
Yeah. He ran 9 routes.
That's it.
I know.
I mean, he averaged,
well, they didn't have
he averaged 22 yards.
I wouldn't say his name if I
21.9.
remembered, but I actually did 2 Ole Miss games that year, and the quarterback play just wasn't what it needed to be.
So maybe I'm crazy. I mean, maybe I'm not. Maybe you're not that far off. Like I assume that Metcalf put up bigger numbers.
Yeah, he didn't.
He didn't.
His yards per catch were outrageous, but yes.
When you watch Harbor run, man, it's fun.
It is fun. Seahawks back at 12. I would be really disappointed, Seahawks fans, after that draft. But again, they reset the clock, so maybe this is just part of the
12.
I know, part of the drill. Don't yell at me. Yell at,
I'm already mad at you.
Yell at FanDuel. Where's my helmet? Yell at FanDuel. No, I'm kidding. But like, we got to go off of something, and this is what we want.
Take advantage of the odds. FanDuel's count them up.
Yeah,
take advantage of the odds. Make them pay.
Yeah, make them pay. Stick it to them. Hawks fans, Jets fans, give them the business. I went with it. There's a lot of wide receivers.
It's gonna be.
Who cares? And I did try to trend.
I'm excited. After this year's class, I want more wide receivers.
I know. And not all these guys are going to be the first round. Maybe there will be one or two who aren't here that will elevate. We see that every single year. But Jeremy Bernard, I'm excited to watch at Alabama. They think that they got their offense rolling. The passing game is going to get rolling again this year. I think Jeremy's going to have a lot more opportunities. Thing about Jeremy that I liked, he showed up like big moments. He would find a way to uncover, get open. 50 catches. They didn't throw the ball great last year. 50 catches, 15.9 yards per catch. He's obviously got a superstar true freshman opposite that they're targeting. And so now Bernard still, though, 50 catches, 15.9 per catch. Physical guy. And the Seahawks didn't draft. The Seahawks wide receiver was top two need.
Right.
Their first draft pick, and I like Torrey Horton, where you got him in the 5th round, but it wasn't until the 5th round.
Right. And Cooper Kupp, we'll see where he's at.
Jermod McCoy, a lot of buzz for this guy. Tennessee corner. We saw they'll go down with the ship in man-to-man coverage, and they went down with the ship in Columbus, Ohio that cold night. But Jermod McCoy is supposed to be the next guy. Longer, man-to-man, cover corner, aggressive scheme, 6 foot, 193, 4 picks last year. Okay,
first corner off the board,
and first cornerback off the board could have gone higher, to be honest. And this is like a top 5, top 7 guy as it stands right now in a lot of people's minds. We'll see how it plays out.
I'm glad you're saying that because some people might read between the lines and say, "Oh, McShay only thinks he's a middle of the first round guy." Gotcha.
And remember, Jalen Ramsey's heading out of town. Yep. Cornerback was a big need. The Dolphins didn't address cornerback until round 5. So keep an eye on that. Another wide receiver here, 14. We thought it was going to be wide receiver at 12. They went with the big guy, Kenneth Grant, Michigan. The Cowboys did. And in part, I believe, because Teteroa McMillan wasn't on the board. He was taken at 8 to Carolina. Cowboys, Evans Stewart is the receiver I went with. Evans, tricky, man. He's lean. He's 6 foot 175. He's the Texas A&M transfer. He is so explosive. I remember talking to scouts last year about Tez and how Tez was on a roll. And we're like, yeah, let's see how it works out. Let's see what he weighs. But yeah, he's been awesome. Tez wound up in like late 7th round, because of all those things. But every scout I talked to, and like I saw it on tape too, but I wasn't, because we kind of knew everyone was going back to school. Stewart's the guy.
Yeah, he was on the board for long stretches of time because I assumed that he was going to come out. I thought he was going to come out.
Yes.
And I had Tez ranked higher than him, and you called me. I remember you calling me and saying, hey, man, Stewart's the guy.
Yeah, flip him. Even though Tez is playing better.
Right.
Stewart, there's some maturing that has to go on. I'm not going to lie to you. He's got some, but this is the year. You got one more year. Get ready. The Cowboys would really, a weapon like this opposite CeeDee Lamb is kind of like the next step. Cardinals. I just like Deontay Lawson.
He's one of my favorite players.
Sue me.
Yeah.
I get it. Off-ball linebacker. Cardinals didn't really address it. I like Cody Simon. They drafted him in the 4th round. We'll see how that plays out. But I could see the Cardinals being in the mood to draft an off-ball linebacker, someone as impactful as Lawson. Lawson had 76 tackles, 6.5 for loss, 2 sacks, 4 PBUs, pass breakups, and an interception last year, and he didn't play in the last 2 games, okay? So he comes back fully healthy, ready to go, the guy. without Jahad Campbell there.
Probably not as naturally talented as Campbell. I'll say that. But the tape
is so good.
Watching him fly around is so. I had him as a potential first-round pick if he came out this year. That's how much I liked him.
Right. So we'll see how that plays out. Steelers fans. Who knows what's going to happen? But if you're picking at 16, it means you had a middle of the road year. It would be frustrating. I probably go the veteran route again. You're not getting it 16 unless you, as I wrote in here. Package picks, move up, go get your guy. Maybe next year's the year. But if you're picking at 16, I don't know that you're going to have your answer, just like picking at 21 this year. So I went with cornerback Damani Jackson from Alabama. Kind of a big, like a thickly built 6'1", 201-pound cornerback, 7 breakups last year, 2 interceptions. I think he's going to ascend and be the guy. Like it's like every year, Alabama. It feels like Alabama and Michigan got a cornerback every year. And so Darius Slay brought in 1 year, 35 years old. This would be a good time to draft a corner, I feel like.
Agree. I want to get to the next guy.
Take it. Take the whole pick.
He's your guy.
I take the whole pick. I know.
Bears fans. They didn't get their running back this year, right? They definitely didn't get Ashton Genty. Did they draft one?
No, they did not draft a single running back.
They did not draft.
I'm going off the top of my head.
They did. They drafted the Rutgers kid late.
Oh, 7th round.
I thought that was in the back of my head.
Yes.
Like I said, definitely didn't get Genty. Anyways, they took the Rutgers kid really late. Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame running back.
Yes.
I mean, just watching him in that Notre Dame team, there's a lot of reasons why they made that run. Riley Leonard put it together, great leader, great head coach, great defense. Jeremiah Love is as big a part of it as anyone. So tough, and then add the explosiveness. I mean, he's going to fight for yards after contact. He's going to break tackles, and then he's going to break loose when he gets a seam. I
love Love, man. It's been told that my whole life.
Fun to watch, and to get him at 17, I think is pretty good. I know running backs. We'll see what this running back class is. You don't always take one in the first round. I think he's a kid you got to keep an eye on in the first round.
I loved Love when a certain quarterback was coming out of Nevada. Coming out of where did Love come out of for the Green Bay Packers? I love Love now that a certain running back's coming out of Notre Dame. I think Jeremiah is special.
Yeah.
I think Jeremiah is special. 18, Bucks, Keldrick Falk, Auburn. I'm excited to see more of this guy. The flashes I've seen, it's impressive. And again, we're now towards middle, late first round, and Falk's still developing. He's an underclassman. If you notice in this, I leaned upperclassmen, guys that could be going to the Senior Bowl, guys who have more experience. I'd rather not plant it in players' heads that, oh, you're ready, if you're not. But this guy's got a lot of talent. You look at here's the thing, 6'6", 288. You don't find many guys at 6'6", 288 with 9 sacks and 45 pressures.
Yeah.
So in the SEC, I think Falk's got a chance if he continues to take that next step. And the Bucs failed to address their needed edge. They went wide receiver, cornerback first 3 rounds. So it would make sense that they would be in the market a year from now. Broncos, I went linebacker. There are 2 linebackers. And again, off the ball linebackers fall. So maybe it's not as high. Maybe only one of these 2 guys. But I'm entering the season. Forget the season. I'm entering our tape study in the next couple months with 2 players. When we get to linebackers, it's going to be, and by the way, this year, instead of doing by school, I'm just going by position.
Yeah.
Because the cut-ups, the PFF Ultimate with Catapult,
I agree.
Awesome for us. I'm going to do it that way.
I think it's going to be a huge help.
We won't lose time that way. So I'm excited. When I get to off-ball linebackers, it's going to be right away Deontay Lawson and then Anthony Hill from Texas. Anthony Hill is a trip to watch on tape.
Yes.
From what I've seen so far, flying around everywhere. He had 6'3", 235, so he's tall, he's long, solid build for an off-the-ball linebacker, but they use him everywhere. 113 tackles. Get this, 16 and a half tackles for loss, 8 sacks, had an interception. He's going to be fun to watch.
I'd like to see him beef up a little bit and turn into a true edge.
can see that.
But looking at him right now, he's the closest thing to Campbell in this next year's class.
Yeah. Why don't you take the Texans? I know this is one of your favorite names in the draft.
I got to watch. Again, this is a talented kid. He's a Nevada transfer. His name's Isaiah World.
Yep.
He's going to Oregon. All-world team. Again, got to watch some more tape on him, but he's got all the talent in the world to develop into a guy that's going to be in the as a first-round offensive tackle.
Yeah, he's a big dude, and
I mean his name's World.
Well, he transfers in, right? He transfers in from Nevada, as you said, to Oregon, and I look at that like the opportunity. I mean, Cornelius has gone to right tackle. Josh Connerly, a first-round pick, is gone. So obviously he was brought in to fill that void, and when I look at it, like, you don't get brought in from Nevada unless you're a dude going to Oregon.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm awfully intrigued. I'm awfully intrigued by his potential, and I think that like they just know what they're doing now. Like they drafted Ursery, the Texans did in round 2. Okay, and I think Ursery is going to wind up being I think he can develop into a starting left tackle. They have Cam Robinson. Cam Robinson's going to be short term. This is a chance. It's kind of a pursuit of excellence in this offensive line group. It started with Ursery. It really started in free agency, a lot of moving parts. They got to get that right because now they're bringing in weapons.
Yeah,
that draft was about weapons for C.J. Stroud, okay? That draft was about bringing in guys that can get down the field and can do different things. That draft was about 2 Iowa State wide receivers that can flat out frickin' play, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll. They sandwiched that in the middle with Ursery, but then they also brought in Woody Marks, who had over 80 catches at Mississippi State early in his career. He can catch the ball. That was about bringing in dudes to catch the football for C.J. Stroud, but now we got to continue to beef up that offensive line. Vikings at 21. I mentioned Jordan Love before, and I said it with Nevada. I was thinking
Utah State.
Utah State.
Yeah.
Kaepernick, yes. Kaepernick was Nevada.
Right, the pistol.
Jordan Love was Utah State, right? Hill. Jair Hill from Michigan. Oh, I said earlier, it feels like every year Alabama's got a corner. It feels like every year Michigan's got a corner.
Right, yeah.
Right? It's not Sandra still. It's Will Johnson. It's not Will Johnson. It's Jair Hill. And that's what I'm hearing out of Ann Arbor, folks, is that Hill's the next guy. I've seen just a little bit. I'm excited to watch him. He's tall. He's long. A little bit lean. 185 at 6'2". Instinctive corner. Excels at knocking the ball away, had a lot of pass breakups, 8 pass breakups a year ago, 1 interception. I thought the Vikings have put themselves in position with their roster building, their free agency moves, where they didn't have to address a need, but I thought if they were going to try to target one the first couple of days, it would be cornerback. They didn't do that. So I could see round 1 being a spot where next year where maybe they go and get their guy, and I'm excited to see Hill if he develops. All right, one more pick, and then we're going to bring out a graphic, and we're going to rip through. I'm going to let Mensch make some comments, and then we're done. We're out of here. We've done it. I think this is our 15th show in L.A.
It might be.
I'm going to go take a nap. I know Dan and Connor want, but
Dan needs some sleep.
They can't get us out of their hair fast enough. They're like, "Hey, great having you."
Yeah, it was great.
The 10 to the 110 to the 405. Go. So we'll rip through the graphic. One more pick, rip through the graphic. I'm going to remind everyone right now, and I'll do it again in a minute. We want your requests. Want your feedback. Tell us what you want us to do a couple shows on next week. It's not being lazy. Like, I can come up with a bunch of stuff. It's pretty, at this point in time, we can go through every single NFL team. We can go handpick certain picks and all this stuff. But tell us what you want to hear, and if there's a consensus or a couple of great ideas, something creative, fun, maybe dress him up as I don't know.
What? Don't be selling me off.
Is the Swami?
That's off air. We're going to talk about it. It's going to happen next year.
Send your comments, send your thoughts, send your requests, and we'll play all the hits next week. Chargers. Harbaugh's very clearly, with the help of Joe Ortiz, his general manager, who we absolutely just think the world of. This is becoming the Niners. this is becoming Michigan football. This is becoming Stanford, you know? And I think the next step in that evolution is tight ends, right?
Yeah.
Getting bigger on the offensive line, pounding the running
I
back.
feel like those Stanford teams had like 45 tight ends.
And Michigan had a bunch too. They weren't as good as the Stanford ones, but they had a bunch of them, okay? So Max Clare, okay, Purdue transfer. I don't know if he's going to be a first-round pick, and Clare family don't go off of this yet. Let's go watch the tape and find out. But there's a lot of excitement for Max Clare. Transfers from Purdue to Ohio State, just like with the Oregon deal. Ohio State gets to choose. They got a pretty good salary cap there. And if they're handpicking Clare to come in, there's talent there. I think like they drafted Gadsden. The Chargers did last year. He's a big wide receiver.
He's the king of the hitch. He's got some talent. We'll see what happens. But in that Syracuse offense, he just ran a lot of hitches.
But it's a 5th-round pick. We're not banking on him being the guy moving forward. So I could see Clare as I could see them addressing tight end early. Not sure if it's going to be Clare. I had another tight end coming, Joe Royer from Cincinnati.
Good player.
Yeah.
Good player.
But that's it. We went 22 deep for you today. I'm not hiding any picks. I'm not trying to upsell you and get you. If you want the final 10 picks, we're not doing that. We're here to show it all. Let's throw up the graphic, okay? Here's the final 10 picks from 23 to 32. We got the 49ers with Caden Proctor, offensive tackle guard, I think is how he projects, from Alabama. Gabe Jackus from Illinois, edge rusher. Really exciting prospect. Let's see how he develops this year. Carnell Tate's one of my favorite, not just because I named my son Tate. He just, as the season progressed, and Emeka Ibuka was awesome, and Jeremiah Smith was awesome.
Yeah,
but Carnell Tate was like, oh, there's Tate again.
Right.
And he was making plays. And yes, I get it. A lot of attention going to those other guys, but he's built well. He seems to get down the field. I'm excited to see Tate. Suntarine Perkins is a tiny edge rusher, but my God. Have you seen that flash come off the edge?
Yes.
Avion Terrell, the cornerback, going to the Perkins went to
Bengals.
The Bengals. The Titans, with that second pick in the trade, go with Avion Terrell, the cornerback from Clemson. Clemson's another team. It seems like they always have a corner, right?
My guys.
And speaking of Clemson, keep the Tiger train rolling, Dabo. We got Antonio Williams at wide receiver. You're right. They got some dudes at receiver. Then Mekhi Lemon from USC going to the Lions. That was after Williams going to the Chiefs. I think both those teams could be in the market for wide receiver. Another receiver. Let's keep it rocking. Texas's DeAndre Moore Jr. going to the Buffalo Bills. So Chiefs, Lions, Bills, all wide receiver. Then Caleb Banks, Florida. He's a veteran guy. I could see him maybe in day 2.
He's good, man.
But he's a really good football player. So I'm leaning veteran football players, guys that I like more know than projecting. But Banks is one of them. And then I mentioned Joe Royer, tight end to the Eagles. They didn't address that need with any significance. And I remember I expected like maybe Mason Taylor early on. I looked it up last night. They did not draft a tight end at all. And there's some talk about Dallas Goedert. So look at those 10 picks. Give me a thought or two on what stands out.
I'm going to talk about a player that was left out.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a player resume. See if you can remember. See if you can pick out this player.
I like this.
Completed 64.5% of his passes last year for 3,139 yards, 29 touchdowns compared to 7 interceptions.
Give me the beginning again.
64.6% of his passes.
Okay, not great.
3,139 yards.
So good. Okay.
29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Yep.
He rushed for 826 yards and 15 touchdowns.
Shoot.
You're going to be kicking yourself for this one. And honestly, like it's the fact you didn't even throw him a bone or mention him, even if you didn't include it, but you didn't mention him, is a direct shot to Connor.
Connor Nevins?
Yep.
Oh, the Washington State lunatic.
The Oklahoma lunatic
now Oklahoma.
John Mateer, baby. Keep an eye. I'm already on John Mateer
You
watch.
are such a kiss ass.
Such a kiss ass. I have no shame in it.
You're already Connor's favorite.
It's whatever day it is. I don't even know when the show comes out.
You're the class.
John Mateer watch starts now. It starts now.
You're the teacher's pet. And now you're doing the Mateer thing for Connor.
Don't tell me he can't play a little bit.
Can I say this?
We'll see against SEC, though. We'll see.
Can I say this about Mateer? He is a wild ride.
Yes, but we said that about a lot of guys that end up going early.
Connor
right?
was right. Like especially living out here, like we're on the East Coast. Like we finished the show. It's I got to go to bed. It's like 1 a.m. But like out here, it's like kind of prime
we get a
time.
text. You see Mateer last night?
It is wild. It's a great way to end the night if you don't want to get a great night's sleep. Is to watch Mateer in that like 11 o'clock kickoff. This was awesome. This was fun. It's been an amazing ride. I am so grateful for the people that we're working with here at The Ringer and Spotify. I am so grateful that I get to work with my guy, Mensch. I'm so grateful for what life has thrown at us when it looked like it was a sharp cutting curveball that we had no chance of hitting and I didn't know what to do next. It turned out to be a fastball in our sweet spot. And this has been the most rewarding year of my entire career. It's been one of the most rewarding years personally. And I have absolutely loved sharing it with all of you and to see the growing support and the comments and the fun that people are having with the show. I'm starting to feel like you guys are getting the show. You're getting how crazy passionate we are about what we do, how much pride we take in it. We've been kind of the group in the corner for a long time that like, why do they do all that tape study? Who cares? Let's talk about the top 5 quarterbacks and top 10 players. Like it's ridiculous. They've got a book this thick and it like no one ever cared. Mm-hmm. But now we get to do what we love and we get to do it here. We get to do it with you, not for you, but with you. And you also get kind of the lunacy that we are too. Like you got to have some balance. And I think Saturday's show with Russillo showed a little bit of that. And
you also get Russillo shorts.
We also started this thing in October. We got a late jump on it. Like we're hectic and we're trying to catch up. And there's a lot of business stuff. And then
what is it even going to look like?
And then when we finally started to get our feet on the ground, it was like, oh, we're heading to Mobile and the combine and the draft. And so I feel like now we can kind of settle in, start the process with you, show you what it takes to get to where we were and why we were ahead of so many people and so many things and why we have the connection, all that stuff. And I'm proud of it. I'm not going to hide from it anymore. And we're not going to be perfect. And we missed. Shedeur was going second round. Then he went we're not going to be perfect, but we are going to give you the information that we're getting and share it with you because you know what? Like just seeing this year, you're starting to get it. And you're starting to appreciate it, and more people are coming, and we're just going to keep doing this thing together. So I just wanted to share that with everyone for a minute, and I can't wait to talk to you next week. I am going to go enjoy a few days and relax, and Mensch might find a couple bands in the L.A. area tonight and enjoy that too, and he'll get back to his family, who has been wonderfully patient with him, as my children and my family have been. And now we get to enjoy a little bit of that, but we're excited. Send your questions, your creative ideas, and let's do a show together next week. We'll do a couple of them, and starting on Monday, I guess. But until then, hope you enjoyed the mock draft. Thankful and grateful for everything that you have done to help support this thing, and let's keep it rolling. See you. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.